age-old mystery of how to tell if a Scorpio is into you. The reason I decided to talk about this topic and Scorpios in particular is because Scorpios are notorious for being a walking contradiction when it comes to love. They're like a mystery novel you just can't put down, except half the time they themselves, the Scorpio themselves, don't even know what chapter they're on. This particular zodiac sign is a master at playing the field and flirting, even if they don't realize they're doing it. Like, picture this. A Scorpio goes to a party. She noticed that some guy is looking her way. What does she do? She politely smiles back, like this, hmm, and she maybe give him a little wink, like a little wink, like a little wink. Yeah, I can't do this. I'm terrible at winking. I'm not a Scorpio. Uh, which, at first thought maybe that's it, no big deal, right? But reality is, this guy now thinks the Scorpio is into them, while the Scorpio, on the other hand, is sitting there like, wait, did I just flirt? No, 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 no. I was just being polite, right? You know? Yeah, and that, is kind of just I guess it's kind of the core of the Scorpio dilemma. They genuinely believe they're just minding their business, all while just leaving a trail of emotional casualties in their wake. They don't think they're magnetic or seductive, though I do believe deep down, most of them know, but they secretly love it. They kind of have like a mindset of, why wouldn't I let people like me a little more? What's wrong with showing off my charm? It's not like I'm leading them on. Or am I? You know, it's kind of like that kind of mindset, I guess. And where it gets kind of interesting is you see a scenario where a Scorpio is single. They have this special talent of, I guess, playing little mind games, even if it's, not on purpose. They make people believe that, there's something there when in reality the Scorpio themselves just see it as vibing. And I think this is just because Scorpios are naturally intense. And yeah, they're ridiculously good at keeping people hooked. So if you're wondering whether a Scorpio is actually into you, trust me, it's not as simple as it seems. Uh, like Scorpios, they're not just good at seduction, they practically wrote the playbook. You remember? I don't know if my viewers are old enough to know about this, but back in the days of social media, for a lot of like websites, apps, and things like that, you could see who visited your profiles and things of that nature. I guess in right now it's similar to how you can see who liked your post, like in like the in like notification like section. Like Scorpios, they live for these features. They would pop in, leave a like, and then immediately undo it. They do this just so to make sure that you saw their name at the top of your visitors list, or like you see it at your notification. They won't say anything directly, but they were they would always make sure you knew they existed. And if you start noticing them always hanging around, always liking your post, always just, present, you'd start wondering, wait, is this Scorpio into me? You know? Which is really normal, but spoiler, not necessarily. That's just how they operate. Like I said, Scorpio have this incredible ability to make everyone feel like they have a chance, even if they don't do it out of malice. When it comes to like other zodiac signs, I guess if let's say if they like you, they are a bit shy. Maybe like they like you, but they are a bit shy. They might hesitate. They might blush. They might need a little push. But Scorpios, no, they're not like that. Or like hell no, 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 no. Scorpios do not do shy. In fact, they might convince themselves they're all mysterious and untouchable. They might tell themselves, oh, I am basically a walking block of ice when it comes to romance. I don't even talk to the opposite sex much. But do we believe them? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because let's be real, Scorpios out there, your definition of detached and above it all is usually just you going without, like, going 5 days without flirting. And here's another important information about Scorpios. When they're in a bad mood, that's when their stinger comes out. Like, you see behind my phone, behind my background over there? You see his stinger? Yeah. This thing is coming out when they're in a bad mood, regardless of what you do. You know? Like, for example, one moment they can be happily, like, playfully flirting with you. Then suddenly their ex calls them up. It triggers all kinds of unresolved emotions. Now they're spiraling, crying, and just full of all these, negative feelings. If you happen to text them at this moment, you are gonna get not so nice part of the Scorpio. Sometimes, they might go, sometimes, depending on the Scorpio, some may just ghost you, others may just like literally text you, get lost or get the hell away from me, just things like that. And I guess the funny part, the Scorpio, when doing this, you know, they'd sit there, arms crossed, thinking they're so cool and untouchable. Like, they tell themselves that, like, after doing something like this. Like, kind of like, I am a forbidden fruit. So tempting, but out of reach. They tell themselves that. But let's be real, Scorpios, that's just a temporary mood swing, a little emotional whiplash. Give it a few hours, and we all know you're gonna be back to your usual game of accidentally making someone obsessed with you. See, contrary to popular beliefs, I don't think Scorpios are always playing hard to get. Most of the time, they're more than happy to engage in a little back and forth with people who are interested in them specifically. But they're masters of slow burn, patiently flirting, dropping hints, keeping the tension alive. And like I said, Scorpios are not shy at all. If you're flirting with them and casually dropping something like, "Hey, I think I have a crush on you. Mind if I shoot my shot?" Most people might get, a little flustered, blush, maybe stammer out like a nervous laugh. But a Scorpio, they are leaning back, they smirk a little, like like smirk a little right here, and hit you with something like, "Depends. Think you got what it takes?" Something like an answer that will not shut you down, but this answer is not gonna give you a clear yes either. They'll kind of just dangle the possibility in front of you because that's just what Scorpios do. They love keeping you on your toes. And I'm telling you guys all of this because it's simple. The reason Scorpios come off as so complicated isn't because they're messy in relationships or because they cheat or because they create unnecessary drama. The real reason that Scorpios are such, I guess, tedious in the romance scene is because they take forever to truly commit to someone, and in that meantime, it is absolutely chaos. Like, by the time a Scorpio finally decides on one person, they definitely, they probably left a trail of emotional destruction behind them already. Like, to get to this point, there's a lot of hurt already done. You might think, like, for example, you might think you're in a special, almost relationship like thing with a Scorpio. You've been flirting for weeks, maybe even months. Everything feels so deep, so real. You're convinced they must really like you. But reality is no, you're not the only one. Scorpios are expert jugglers. They can keep their ex in the picture, entertain other admirers, chat with someone new every morning, all while texting you good morning and good night like you're the only one. And the reason and reality is, until they fully decided on you, nothing is official, nothing is real. And trust me, figuring out whether or not you're the one for Scorpio, that itself is a long, complicated, and sometimes very brutal process. But here's the real Scorpio secret. And I think it's very important for this topic over here. Until a Scorpio is fully committed, they have zero weak spots, no cracks, no tells, no typical signs of them actually not invested in you. If they haven't gone all in, they can still be the most perfect partner you can think of. And yeah, so how do you actually you know, how do you actually tell if a Scorpio is into you? This is where things get serious. Listen carefully. Scorpios don't fall in love through words or fleeting emotions. They don't fall because of sweet talk, romantic dates, or playful flirting. None of these things. A Scorpio only truly considers being with someone after they lived alongside them. What do I mean by that? When I say lived, I don't it doesn't necessarily mean literally living with them, but it means that you must have already seen their best and worst sides. Namely, you must have seen their flaws before they can love you. If you've been in an intense, fun, like flirty, almost relationship with a Scorpio for months and think that means love, no, like it's not even close. If you've never had a real fight with them, you're not in love. You're not even close to a real relationship. That's because for Scorpios, love doesn't begin until the first real conflict. They need to see how you handle tension, misunderstandings, and rough patches before deciding if you're someone they can truly invest in. And until that moment, it's just a game. And let's not forget, Scorpios are not easy people to deal with. Out of the 12 zodiac signs, I would put like Scorpios. They take the longest to commit to someone in my opinion. Like in terms of like completely, they overthink everything. Their minds are like a high security vault, filled with endless theories, suspicions, and worst case scenarios. So once they catch feelings, a way to tell is, their possessiveness skyrockets. The second a Scorpio realizes they actually like you, suddenly every little thing matters. If they start picking fights over small stuff, like, why are you wearing long sleeves in the summer? Like, why are you drinking ice water, like, when we're skiing? Like, why are you buying this type of coffee? It's not because they're just being picky, it's because I guess they've claimed you in a way. Like, a Scorpio only nitpicks someone they see as theirs. If they don't care about you, they won't say a word. They'll let you exist in your little bubble completely unbothered. But the second they do care, everything about you is their business. So this is the golden rule of Scorpios to tell if a Scorpio is into you. Remember, if they truly care about you, your business becomes their business. If they don't, you're on your own. No questions, no nagging, no unnecessary comments because they simply don't care. And this right here, remember, this is the one and only way to tell if a Scorpio actually has feelings for you. Forget everything else. If they aren't nitpicking, getting possessive, or inserting themselves into your life, they're not emotionally invested. Period. The reason why this is the only foolproof method, like I said earlier, is because Scorpios are masters of disguise. They can play whatever role they need to, especially Scorpio man, and obviously, woman too. If they're emotionally detached, they can say anything, do anything, and tell any story, because none of it actually matters to them. Trust me, a Scorpio who has not fallen for you is wild. Like a Scorpio that's not in love is wild. Like think about this. A Scorpio is feeling down. What do? Open their phone, start chatting with 5 or 6 different people at once, venting about their problems. But here's the kicker. She's telling a different version of the story to every single person different. They're just filling space, playing a role, killing time. Sounds familiar? Yeah. If you are a Scorpio, you've done this at one point. Or maybe they're at home with their hair unwashed, wrapped in a blanket, mindlessly scrolling through their phone. Then out of nowhere, they post a vague attention seeking status like, oh, why am I even at this bar? Are they actually at a bar? No, they're not. They're in bed. Do they even want to be at a bar? Also, no. They do this because they want to stir up some curiosity, get someone to bite the hook because they're bored, because they're lonely, and because they can, sincerely. And that's the real Scorpio. If they don't care, they'll spin whatever tail fits the moment. They'll say whatever sounds good, play whatever role suits them because, frankly, it doesn't matter to them. That's why I say you cannot judge a Scorpio's feelings by their words alone, because they're too good at making things up on the fly. But here's the way that you can tell. You can tell by the way they act when they start to actually catch feelings. A Scorpio who really likes you will start getting calculative. They'll overthink. They'll hold grudges. They'll stew in their emotions. One small misunderstanding can turn into sulking, which turns into passive aggressive remarks, which can spiral even into like a full blown, like a exploding frustration moment. The biggest sign if a Scorpio is into you, in my opinion, is you will not feel comfortable in the quote unquote talking stage. In fact, you might feel out like downright stressful. You'll feel confused, emotionally exhausted, maybe even grossed out by the way they start acting. And that's when you know the Scorpio is into you. Yeah, like I said, Scorpio is a very problematic zodiac sign in this regard. Like out of all the people I've talked to who came to me for these advice, I would say Scorpio definitely makes the top 3, like out of all the zodiac sign. Alright, that's it for today. If you enjoy this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you want to see more, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!